A doctor said I might be getting an ulcer. I'm like, you think?
Yeah.
Um, years of abuse will do that to you. Uh, but yeah, well, I mean, outside of that, no, I'm pretty much going. I finally got around to finishing up Vox Machina.
Oh, awesome.
Uh, so yeah, that was for those who don't know, Vox Machina is the Critical Role, D&D campaign done by a ton of voice actors, and they crowdfunded this. They made an animated version of, I think it was season one of their campaign.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is I never saw I tried watching season one, but I had a hard time because I was listening to the podcast version, and I'm a very visual person when it comes to D&D, those kind of shows. So if I can't see them roll and I can't really see who's talking, it takes me out of it. It's really weird. So I couldn't really listen to the podcast, and I didn't have enough time to really watch like they have so many episodes. It's crazy. So I'm not really sure how related it is or how close to the story they fit. But then every now and then I am watching this show, and I was just like, okay, they tried something, and the character has something backfire and do something really stupid. I'm like, did they roll like really low? I'm thinking to myself in my head. But the show is overall it's pretty good. I enjoyed my time with it. Like I voiced last episode, there's a few moments where they just like to curse for cursing's sake, and I think it fits the characters to a point, but mainly because it's like high fantasy, and I'm just so used to like things being curse omitted. Like a lot of video games will take out, like, Nathan Drake will murder waves and waves of people, but he won't really swear that much. And so it's one of those things that just caught me off guard. And every now and then I hear it, I'm like, it's almost that high school mentality of I'm going to swear because that's going to make it more impactful at this moment. And then it's just like, I
Yeah.
think it's just a me thing. I'm not really sure. So,
Yeah. So
uh,
just to jump in really quick, I did watch about half of an episode of this, and um, I didn't really think it was bad. I just kind of had to go on with something else that I was trying to watch, and the cursing did put me off really quickly. I was like, it just didn't fit right. It was the show is very cartoony because it's a cartoon, but it's even, I don't know, like some anime are less cartoony somehow, but the show is very much a cartoon, and the cursing just it didn't fit right to me. It wasn't like super funny the way like South Park would be, and it wasn't serious enough to merit those words in that way, and it just kind of put me off. I know how you feel.
See, I think because the art style is, I'm not sure if it's the same art team that did like Legend of Korra or like Voltron, on the Netflix remake of Voltron. But because it's that art style and I can associate with those shows, it's really hard for me to, that's my brain kind of automatically goes to that's the art quality. So this is the type of show it's going to be, like PG-13, essentially. I mean, it's fine with the murder and stuff like that, but because hearing them swear, I'm like, it made me feel really old because I mean, I used to swear a lot more when I was younger. But it was just one of those things. I'm like, it just felt really off. And I mean, it's not like an Adult Swim, like show or something like that, or you kind of expect it from there. Uh,
I
but
mean,
because of the way it's done, and I'm like I said, I'm associating that art style with more children's shows.
there's like this thing, like like everybody needs an uncle that will come over to their house and take them like hunting or whatever and teach them how to curse, because your mom can't do it and your dad can't do it because they'll get in trouble with your mom, but you have an uncle who's like, I'm not any of those people, but I care about you and I need to teach you how to curse. And it's like you can't just say the F word all the time. You can't just say fuck, 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 fuck about everything. There's certain things that it fits with and certain things that it doesn't. And I feel like this show doesn't get those things. Like it needs an uncle to come do that for it.
Yeah, I think also just because for comedic relief, you can swear, like, or you can use other, Nathan Drake would like, oh crap, 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 he would say that out loud, and it makes it more humorous because he's, it's the way it's pitched.
Yeah.
While you have it here, if you were to start, yeah, it's one of those things that yes, the characters are a bunch of crasp, and like it fits their personalities of those people, but it's just really weird to watch. So that was like the only real odd part for me. So yeah, but
Um,
other than that, I thought the story was pretty good.
I was
I
wondering what
enjoyed my time with it.
you. I was wondering what you thought of the animation quality.
Uh, uh, like I said, it's just like Voltron, and so
Okay.
I actually really like the quality. I personally think it's a very good. For those who've never seen any of the things I've been referencing, it's the best way to explain it is like American anime.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's the current style that if you want, it's a west. You look at it and you're like, that's totally Western, but it's like anime inspired.
Hmm.
And it's a very crisp digital art. It's yeah, I think it looks very well done. The character designs and the world, the in the background, everything. Honestly, it's solid. I enjoyed my time with it in the end. They completely leave it open for season two, which they obviously have multiple campaigns. Uh, so I'm kind of curious where it's going to go from there.
I
But
mean, I kind of wonder
uh,
how much of the campaign they actually covered in this in this show.
and that's where I can't answer because I haven't I never went through the whole season of. I only went through the first couple episodes
Yeah.
of that campaign. So yeah, so I'm not going to bother spoiling it or anything like that. But they completely leave it wide open at the end, and I
I,
know later on they completely switch characters in the in later campaigns.
yeah, like I
So
imagine they probably only covered a section of the campaign because the campaign's like 3 years long. I mean, it's like 200 episodes. I think that's about how long or maybe even more. I know the second campaign was over 200 episodes. I don't know how many, but it was a lot, and that's like 3 hours, per sometimes more. So they
yeah,
probably
they essentially go through like three. They go through two mini arcs and one like bigger arc.
yeah.
Is how they pitched it, or how it ended, and the the main chunk of that is the big portion was a decent story. Uh, yeah, and like I said, it's funny because I think if you went through the seasons, if you watched the show or the podcasts, and then you watched the animated, you might like there might be more correlation, but there's I know there's an ongoing meme kind of joke where they have bad luck with doors. And so there's a bit where they're trying to pick a lock,
Oh
and
yeah.
he's constantly failing and he's having a hard time. And one of the guys then tries to climb the wall to go into the window. And then next thing you know, they fail at picking the lock, and then he falls from the window. And he's just like, so I'm like, part of me is like, well, did they fail the lock picking? And did he actually fall from? Like, I can see that totally happening. I'm going to climb this wall and try to get in there, and I failed my dex check or my acrobatics or whatever it is, and I can totally see something like that happening, and then them translating that to the animated. Uh,
That's
or
almost
that just might be wishful thinking on my part.
that's almost certainly what happened. I mean, I didn't watch the first campaign either, but like that's almost certainly what happened because that's kind of a weird that's kind of a weird way to write. I mean, I could see that happening, but that's kind of the point of making the show is to make it off of the campaign. I mean, that's the way it would be to me, but I don't know. Anyway, I might try to watch a little bit more of it. There's a lot to see and do, but it did interest me just because I do like Critical Role in general.
It was only